catalyst for change with the chance to thrive. Crystal is the one to stir up gifts and save lives. You get exposure, promotion, and marketing too. And advertise for business owners just like you. On Storytime, your interview is global. Virtual or in person, just come on the show. Yo, your story matters. Crystals will open the door. 40 years of experience, ready to give you more on Storytime. Get ready for Storytime. Hey, come on.
Thank you for always supporting and coming back. I am your girl Crystal, and we are ready for another episode of Story Time. All right, we're going to go over a few housekeeping rules here tonight. We want to make sure you know where you are. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Story Time. All right, this is where human beings connect through life experiences, right? And we want to ask you while you're here to please like, share, and comment and subscribe. Okay, like, share, comment, and subscribe. All right. And we want to also ask you to tell a few friends that you're here. So take a moment and let them know that you are here. Please take a moment and let them know that you are here. It's free to do that. Okay. Support is free. So what am I saying? Share with about 5 friends. All right. That's all I'm saying. Share with about 5 friends. Just tell them, hey, listen, we are going to be talking to a young man who is doing some amazing things. And we just like for you to please share. All right. And we want you to make sure that you follow our guests on all platforms and show support in the comment. All right. So tonight I have Mr. MichaelSpivey. Okay. And let me just show you who this is. All right. Mike Spivey is a man that I have met. I met him actually, we went to church together, and Mike is a good guy. He's doing amazing things. And he reminds me so much of someone who was dear to me, which was my father, because my father was also a saxophonist. And actually they met, and I'm going to share that story with you while I have Mike on the screen. But Mike is a good guy. He used to play for the church, and he just has a good intentions with his music on what he wants to do to share the gospel around Wake County, not just the gospel, but good music, whether it's jazz, whatever it is that he can play with those horns. And you see, he has more than one. So he plays more than one. So let me just tell you this. Mike is definitely a person that can get it done for you. All right. And I want to let you know something else. Not only does he play more than one, okay, you see the 2, but he also, we're going to talk about his upcoming event. He has an upcoming event coming up, and it's called the Lean on Me Gospel Concert. So before we go further, before we do anything else, I'm going to bring my guests on up. I'm going to bring them up. I'm going to ask them to join me on the stage. And I think I hear him knocking at the door. Knock. Mike, are you with me?
Yeah, hey, how you doing? How you doing, Crystal?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing great now that the weekend's about over with. Had a lot going on the last 2 weekends, so I can use some rest.
Okay, well, rest and relax. Now, I know you sent me your bio, and I saw the thing that you told me about in regards to your medical condition when you were born and a lot of things. But before I go into that, I always like to ask my guests to explain to people who may not have never met them, who is Mike Spivey, like the little boy, where you're from. Give us a little bit of your history of who is Michael Spivey, the little boy, where you're from, and just a little bit of your family history.
Yeah, I grew up in Portsmouth, Virginia, until about the age of, I guess, my teen years. Then we moved to a place called Scotland Neck, North Carolina, and they didn't have any public transportation, and I was forced to drop out of school and join the Marine Corps. And once I joined the Marine Corps, I found a lot of different things that were put in my life, opportunities. I've had secret clearance. I have met a lot of dignitaries along the way. Also, I lost a lot of friends. In 1983, in the Beirut bombing, I lost a lot of friends from that, and over the years, it has bothered me. But
Let me stop you because you went boom, you went fast forward, you went jump to the Marines. Take me back to the little boy, Mike. Oh my goodness, was you somebody that played? Did you play in the school band? Did you play in elementary, middle, high school? Did you play those horns back then? Tell me about your childhood. Was you somebody who dreamed about being a saxophonist?
Yeah, well, let me back up. That's on me. Yeah, I started playing trumpet. I always liked Louis Armstrong when I was growing up, and so I migrated to the trumpet. I always try to sing, but that's not a strong point. Uh, as When I was talking about the Marine Corps, when I got out, I became homeless, and during the course of being homeless, I began to work at a pawn shop. I had some friends that had a pawn shop, and during that time, the Holy Spirit brought the saxophones into my life. I didn't like the saxophone, but I heard Kenny G, and I became fascinated with Kenny G. So they would let me take the horns home.
Wow.
So I started off with the alto, the tenor, the soprano, and as I gained knowledge in each one of those horns, I became well enough to where I could go out and perform before people. I always could play the trumpet before people, but the saxophones came a little later. Then I joined a couple of groups where they let me take them freelance like I wanted to. And finally, I migrated to the trombone, then the baritone saxophone. So all of those came by the way of becoming homeless, and God given me an opportunity to give me a foundation. Because,
Well, let me
like I
back
said,
up a little bit. So, before you got to that point, when you first found out that you heard Kenny G and you liked the trumpet, what were you doing then? What age was you then?
probably 6 or 7, I would say.
Wow. So you started real early.
Yeah, I mean, it started in grade school. Yeah.
So, Mike, let me ask you something. So, children at that age can really get a love for an instrument and begin to work on their craft in elementary school?
Yeah, well, I played all the way up through high school. Then I kind of like, once I joined the military, I kind of set it aside. And I pick it up every now and then. But it wasn't until when I got out. I joined the Marine Corps in 1974. I got out in July of 1988. And I would say between 88 and 89, I began to get back into music because I used to have a bus company, a little small charter bus company. And I had taken some friends from Virginia down to North Carolina to Durham, to where I had never witnessed gospel singing before. And it was a young man there playing the saxophone. And I told him, I said, well, I play the trumpet. I don't play the saxophone, I play the trumpet. So when I got back, that's how I got into gospel. I was in 89, somewhere right up in there. And ever since then, I've been doing gospel.
So let me get this right. So you had your charter bus company. You had the bus company. You took someone to their show. You heard some gospel music, some good old gospel music, and you said, listen, I want to do that too. I want to do that too. So when you did that, how exciting was that to be able to start and go and then get that first show? Do you remember that first show, the first time you had the big audience? And did you have, because I know right now when you play, sometimes you have more than one horn. When you did that first show, did you have more than one horn then too?
No, I only had the trumpet.
Okay.
I could say,
And so
I played
how did
the trumpet for years.
Okay. How did the audience love you? How did the audience receive you at that first show when you played that trumpet?
Well, a lot of in gospel, you don't see a lot of live horn players. So I was more curious than anything else because they see guitars, keyboards, and bass guitars and drums, but they don't see horns. When I go out now, even when I go places, when I take at least 5 horns with me when I go out, and I play all 5 horns when I go out, and people, they just amazed at the fact that I can pick one horn up and go to the next horn without even thinking about it. And I said, well, that's because God put that in me to where I can do that. And I still amaze people now when I go out. Like I say, I was just at an event this weekend and last weekend, and people just talked about they don't know nobody that play brass and reed and just can pick them up and just go from one to the other. Like, cause I got some horns that you probably never seen. They're real big. Well, on my concert annually, I bring them, but I don't play them.
Wow. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just tuning in, I'm talking to Mike Spivey, and Mike had been playing the trumpet and saxophone since he was about 5 or 6 years old, and he used to look up to people like Kenny G and a couple of people. Did you ever get to meet any of them in person?
No, but my plans is I'm going to contact Kenny G. I guess
Manager.
PR person.
His booking agent or manager.
And talk to him about maybe next year concert to try to see what it would take to get him to come, because he's been such an inspiration in my life. So that's one of the things I've been praying about, to allow me, excuse me, to allow me to be able to reach out to him and we can work out something. I know most likely I'm gonna probably have to sell tickets because I usually do my events free and you bring a love offering. But if I can get him to come, probably most likely I'll have to charge to be able to cover his fee. And I would like for him to come just because he was instrumental in my life, with the saxophones, the trumpet, Louis Armstrong, like I said, he's deceased, but Kenny G was the one really that helped put me on my feet, because like I say, I didn't like the saxophone until I heard Kenny G.
Wow.
And I migrated to the saxophone because of him.
Wow. I think that would be a touching story for you to send and maybe write to them and let them know. And that would be amazing if he comes and he would acknowledge you and do that. Now, Mike, throughout all of this, I heard you say a couple of times you became homeless. So it's very inspirational to know that you jumped over that hurdle and you became, stable, and you were able to get on your feet and get your independence. Let's talk about that for a moment, because some of the people who may come back later on and watch this show, somebody may be in a homeless situation. They may be in a situation where they don't see themselves getting out. So can we talk for a moment how you did that? How did you get yourself out of that situation? Was it the people? Was it resources? Was it your faith? How did you get out of the scenario and become on your feet after you were in that situation?
Let me share this with you. A lot of people think when people are homeless, there are some people homeless that don't have a job. There are homeless people that do have jobs because they can't afford rent. Well, I had a job, but I couldn't afford to pay rent. So I slept in my car, which gave me some protection, but still I was vulnerable because I heard people always, when I was trying to sleep, talking. I didn't know if they're going to break in the car or what, because it was no security. So that's why I share homelessness, because there are many people that sleep in their cars and they would tell you it's not a safe place to be, because somebody can break into the car at any time and harm you and take your valuables. But I would, it was from like July during that summer throughout the winter. Like I said, I just look at the snowfall on the roof of my car. I had T-tops, and the Holy Spirit was speaking to me the whole time. Said, why are you here? And I said, well, because I ain't got nowhere to go. And the Holy Spirit said, no, you better than this. And that's when I began to realize I was out of sync with what God wanted for me to do with my life, you know, because He had taken me to so many things, give me so many opportunities, and here it is, you know, I'm basically giving the bottom out because of my non believing in Him that He could bring me up. So when I thought about that, I met a young man in our group who was a drummer, and they let me run a room from them. And that's how I came out from sleeping in my car. And then I basically got a better job and started building and building and building. Went in transportation, you know, where I made some decent money along with the tips I got from the customers. And I played my saxophone. So I built a strong following because Mike Spivey, the bus driver, he plays the saxophone. So I played in Times Square, Niagara Falls, all throughout Canada, different places, and it really has helped me because, like I say, that helped me financially get back on my feet because people gave me nice tips along with my salary I got from the job. So you know, God put the right thing in my life at the right time, even if it was something I didn't like. I didn't like the saxophone, but He knew I needed that, and He put Kenny G, the all-time instrumentalist, in my life. And I listened to him and learned how to play some of his notes. I couldn't play them all, but I played enough that when I played for the people, they just liked the fact that, hey, I shared my gift with them. Wow. And the kids started calling me Sax and Mike. So when they would call the company, they asked for Sax and Mike to be their driver. Sometimes I had 3 or 4 requests at the same time, and it got a little rough, because the group, when they see you. So we requested you too. I said, but the company, they didn't tell me about you. They told me about them. I said, you call the company. I didn't know. They didn't give me that choice of which group to choose between. But, I played before federal judges, dignitaries. Like I said, I just had a well-rounded, I didn't go in front of big crowds like, the
PNC Arena or nothing like that. But you had some private events.
Yeah, but I had my own little audience, smaller audience, but just as important people than if I had went out there before all of those people. Because what people got to understand, when you play before a large crowd, you're only gonna get a handful of people a lot of time that actually come and say they enjoyed you. Everybody trying to go home and all of this. I've experienced that, so I prefer the smaller crowds where I get a chance to talk with the people, and and share a conversation with them. So that's what I learned, along the way. It's not about the size of the crowd. It's about the people that you actually touch when you take and do what you do.
Exactly.
And that's what my goal is now. I played a small church just as well as I played a large church, because I can communicate with the people in a smaller church because it's only a handful. Yes. But if I'm in a large church, you still get a smaller group, but with the amount of people, they should get more. But everybody trying to get out of there and go home and all of that. So I don't have a preference. Wherever I'm sent to go, that's where I go.
Let me ask you this, Mike. So you've had some challenges. You were born with challenges too. So you've had medical conditions. So you've always been somewhat of an overcomer. So it seems like you never let anything get the best of you. Would you say that is because of your faith, or would that just always your personality?
No, that's my faith. I always believed, even when I was a child, I didn't know the Bible, but I always knew that Jesus Christ existed. I knew God existed. And old people should say the Holy Ghost. Now we'll say the Holy Ghost and we'll say the Holy Spirit. And people talk about angels, which we all have assigned angels. And I tell people, you never know who's in your life to take and be a blessing to you. So you can't be mean or angry towards anybody because you don't know who that person, why they're in your life. And people a lot of times blow up, opportunity because, they're not nice to people, and they run people off. And that might be the person that can turn your life. So you got to treat everybody fair and be honest with them. Even if you dislike them, you can't hate on nobody. That's why the Bible says you got to love your enemy. If somebody you don't like, you still got to love them.
Yes. So, Mike, now let me ask you this. So, thank you for your service. I heard you say you were in the Marines, and that's important. I know I saw in your bio, excuse me, that you were in Beirut and a couple of things. Let's talk about that a minute, and then let's talk about veterans and the resources and how some of them don't really get that much after serving. So, any comment in regards to that, in regards to the state of the U.S. right now and veterans and what your thoughts are on that, because you're a veteran and you are a Marine. Any thoughts on what veterans have available to them now and how that could be changed?
Well, I mean, uh, I believe if the vets, a lot of veterans will not go to the Veterans Administration for assistance. Even myself, when I got out in 1988, I did not go until 2009 to seek assistance because I knew I was struggling. I had problems, but I didn't know what my problem was. I found out I had post-traumatic stress disorder, and they started, giving me help, and it changed my life because it gave me confidence in some areas I didn't have confidence. What I do when I talk to veterans, I ask them, "Are you getting your benefits?" And if they say no, I give them the information to contact how to get their medical records and their personnel records. Then I tell them, I say, I use the DAV, Disabled American Veterans. They are organizations like the VFW, Veteran of Foreign War. They help you put together a package to present to the VA to try to help you get benefits.
Wow.
And so I always ask a veteran, are you getting your benefits? Oh, I didn't have this. I said, hey, you was a teenager when you went in the military. You don't remember that stuff. I said, you need to get your medical records and your personnel records so you can look to see if you got any trouble. If you got any trouble, you could have had PTSD or some type of anxiety disorder or something while you was on active duty. If you go to the VA, they can take and probably bring you up to speed and start you off with 10, maybe 20% of disability. Then you go from there. I say, don't never say that you don't have anything you don't remember. We was all teenagers.
Wow.
So a lot of stuff I probably forgot that has happened. But when I went back and put my medical records and went back, all the time I went to sick bay, I didn't never get into trouble, so I ain't had to worry about my personnel records. But I did get some write-ups sometime that I didn't think was favorable, So you use all of that information, and that's how you build your case.
Yes.
To see if you qualify for some type of disability. They start you off. You can get 0%. That what that means is, okay, we know you got a problem, but you haven't shown us enough to warrant any compensation. 0%, you don't get any type of compensation. They give you access to the VA, but they don't give you any compensation. 10% will give you a couple $100. Then it started going on all the way up, and you can go with up to like close to $4,000. If you're married, you go about $4,600, $4,700. So veterans. There's a lot of veterans out there. I still tell you now. Well, I didn't get sick. I said, you don't know that. You was a teenager. How do you remember? You don't even probably remember having last year. And you talking about remember 40 years or so ago.
So so the message I'm hearing to anyone who comes back that has ever served is make the phone call. Like make the phone call and check your medical records and ask questions because you may be entitled to something. So thank you for sharing that. That's really, really good. I mean, because some people may need to hear that. Somebody probably.
Yeah, I said it was male and females. I mean, as long as you're a veteran, it makes no difference. I always try to look out for all veterans. I talk to everybody, and they do me the same way. I said, no, I'm good. I've been like over 15 years. They said, well, yeah, you know that. I said, yeah. But I got out in '88, and I didn't take and do anything in 2009. Wow. And so I missed a lot of years, but I thank God. Hey, He brought me around what I need to be brought around. So I'm not worrying about this. That's lost time. I can't change that.
Yes.
But now I understand. Like I said, I talk to different people, and share that with them.
So, Mike, you also, I guess because of all the things you've been through between your medical conditions and everything, you decided to take your gifts. You know, we know that you love the saxophone. I mean, that's who you are. But you decided to take your horns and to create a platform. And you came up with this idea. You came up with this idea to do a show. And I know that you have a show coming up this year, and you've done this show a couple of years. Take us to what brought this idea to you and what this whole show is about, so that if anybody's in the area, they could begin to support the show. I want you to talk about this a little bit, and then we're going to take a break, and I'm actually going to go back to last year's show because I have a clip. I have a clip for last year's show. So I want you to make sure you stay here, because we're going to give you a glimpse of Michael Spivey playing those horns that you heard him talk about. So don't touch that dial. All right. So, Mike, before we do that, tell us a little bit about how this concept came about with this show that you're going to be doing. This year is called Lean on Me. It was called something else last year. And how many years have you done it? And where did the idea come from?
Okay, well, it's called Lean on Me because I realize that we all need support for each other, regardless what we're going through, medical or mental. And at the time, I was diagnosed with multiple myeloma, a blood cancer, and amyloidosis, which is a kidney disorder. And I thought about it. I said, well, Lord, I said in 2020, I had pneumonia, and you brought me through it. And I said, you know, I've been going through things all my life. I said, I didn't want to do it, but the Holy Spirit told me, say, you need to put together a program just for those people that are struggling medically across the board, regardless if it's mental or some type of physical medical problem. And I came up with the Lean on Me gospel concert. Last year was called a gospel musical, but still had Lean on Me. And that's what it's designed for, people to come together that one day, along with me and some of the people that's going to be performing, some of the other artists. And that day is dedicated for you to be able to take the shoes off and just relax, enjoy the music. If you need to worship, walk around the church, you know, me and Pastor Mitch, you know, we want people to come and enjoy themselves. I've been hosting this my third year. And I'm hosting at Word of God at 3000 Rock Quarry Road. And because, you know, Bishop and Pastor Jonelle both, they passed from cancer. So that's why I hosted there at the church, because I understand what a cancer patient goes through. And so that's where the Lean on Me come from, that we need to lean on each other. When we are down or sick, we need help. We need encouragement. We need somebody to talk to. I'm in the process of talking to the Cancer Society again. The first year they were supposed to came. Last year I took and read some of the different types of cancers, over 100 different types of cancers. People don't realize that, you know. And I said, you know, I'm gonna do it again, but I'm gonna reach out to them and see if they can send someone to speak just a few minutes. If not, then I do it again myself. Just let people know. Yes. When you have a problem, go to the doctor. Yes. If you don't like what that doctor say, go to another doctor.
Yes.
Get you at least two opinions to see where they're coming from. Because one doctor may say one thing, another one may say something else different. Now you don't know which way to go, so you might need a third opinion. But at least it'll give you a chance to make a decision between the three, what you need to do. Now, some people are rushing, so well, you need surgery. Always get your second opinion on surgery, because sometimes you don't need surgery. Surgery costs money, so they get paid. Your problem still could be there. You might not need surgery. So I tell people, always get you more than one opinion before you do that. My wife had a situation where she had breast cancer. The doctor wanted to remove her breast. That's been over 4 years ago, and she still have her breast. But I told her, I said, you know, It's your body. I say, but I will get a second opinion. Come to find out she didn't need to have her breast removed.
Wow. Yeah, we have to make sure that we get those second opinions. It does. And we have to make sure we have those annual checkups. I
Yeah.
lost my mom, my dad, and my brother to cancer. My sister has cancer that's in remission, so I'm very familiar with the cancer. There's a test you can do too. There's a blood test for some people who may not know. There's a blood test that you could take. It detects certain types of cancer, and that is the CA125. The CA125. So if you're doing blood work and you have cancer that runs in your family, you can get a CA125 blood test where they can detect it. Now, it may be for certain types, but it is another way to detect it and ask questions and see. The other thing I would say is find out the foods you can eat that will build your immune system and keep you strong. But yes, we do have to support one another. So on that note, I appreciate you. And I want to say this too, Mike. I remember when you came and you did the party. I don't remember. We wanted to do something for Dad, and we had you come over there. And I'll never forget because it was very touching for me. And I just want to tell you thank you again. And that's why I always want to support you, because that was special for me. And he really enjoyed that, So you coming over to the house, and we had him come outside on the porch, and he had a few friends. I think it was about 2 or 3 couples. And Mike played, y'all. I had him, he was set up on the carport, and he had his horns. I think he had 2 or 3 horns, and he played. And my dad really, really enjoyed it. And after a while, they got up and they danced. That was so special. We have that on video. One day, I need you to say something to my nephew. Be like, Larry, can you find that video? Because I've been trying to get it. Maybe if you ask, he'll pull it out. But he has the video of that, and I would love to see that.
You talking
So
about Larry?
next time you see my nephew in church, him or Shannon, say, Larry, I have a question for you. That time I came over to grandfather's house, can you find that tape for me? Because I'd love to see it. Ask him. And maybe if you ask him, he'll pull it out, because he definitely has it. He has it. He
the next time I see him, I'll do that.
He videoed it, but it was amazing, and that was so nice. They were on the front yard, y'all. They were on the front yard dancing, the couples, and they were maybe in there. I think Dad and them, they were in their 70s, late 70s, almost 80s. So this was a beautiful sight, and I would love to see that video. If I find it, if my nephew pulls it out, we'll definitely do it. I have a little clip of something, I think, somewhere too. I'm gonna look for mine, but he's got the whole thing, But let's talk about what it sounds like listening to Mike. I have a clip. Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna take a moment. I'm gonna let you just hear a little bit. Give them a little bit of history about last year with Gospel Awakening, and you had the host there from Gospel Awakening. He was the person who did this for you, if I'm not mistaken. And tell us a little bit about what we're getting ready to share and what the people are getting ready to see. Tell us about what this event was.
Yeah, they Bishop Jenkins and Deborah, his sister, host and co-host of Gospel Awakening, had me on the show last year before my concert to help me promote it. And I've been working with them. I've been working with Terrence for quite a while when he was with Spiritual Awakening. And when they came over to Gospel Awakening, he had been talking to me for years to come on the show. So last year, I went on the show, and it was called Mike Spivey and Friends. And I took a couple of friends, and they sang, and I played behind them, and just so they can get some exposure along with me, because I didn't want the show to be all about me. So I said, no, I'm gonna bring a couple of friends on, and to help them, get a little bit of exposure also. And so yes, they got the footage done in times so it can get out before the concert. And we did pretty good. Had a lot of competition last year. The fair, the weather was nice, and it was quite a few HBC football games going on, and it was a gospel play. But we still did better than we did the first year.
Okay.
For tennis and the love offering, the people were very generous last year, and I appreciate that.
Well, let's take a sneak peek. Ladies and gentlemen, and let's see this here, what we had going on for this event that Mike is talking about. Let's take a listen to Michael Spivey.
This is Gospel Awakening, a viewer-supported television show filled with motivating inspiration. Now, enjoy the show.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Gospel Awakening Television.
Wow.
I'm your co-host,
That
Clarence Jenkins.
was amazing.
And I'm your co-host, Deborah Jenkins Blackwell. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Terrence.
Good morning to you, my wonderful, wonderful sister. You look great. I like that color.
So listen, oh man, that was amazing. That was amazing. That was so amazing. And man, did that bring back memories, Mike?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Every time I look at it, I just thank God for the friendship between both Bishop Terrence and his sister Deborah. They're good people and stuff, and I'm praying that the show can stay on because it's hard. People don't listen to gospel like they used to, and it's sad that when they took spiritual awakening off, then he came up with the idea of gospel awakening, and it's been like 5.5 years now, but other things, saying that things are a little bit more tighter than what they want them to be because people just not really supporting gospel the way it should be, and I always try to take and do what I can. If they call me right now and say, Mike, we need you next weekend, long as I don't have anything on the books, I will pack up my gear and go down there and help them out.
Wow,
because
that's what it's
they're
all
good people
about.
like that.
Yes. And so, Mike, talk to me about the horn you were playing in that video. You have several horns, and tell us about the different horns. And I heard you hit some high notes and some low notes. And how much practice does it take to do that? Because you got to have some wind in you to do that, don't you?
Yeah, well, you need wind, you need mind, you need lip control. So in other words, the wind, your lungs, your lip, your armatures, then your mind thinking of what you need to do, how to do it. And it's a combination of things to get it done. In that photo, you saw a picture of the alto saxophone and the flugelhorn, which Chuck Mangione is the only flugelhornist that I have followed. So I became intrigued with the flugelhorn, and I had that horn about maybe 2 years. It's one of the newest horns that I have. That saxophone, I had that over 20 years, that alto. And somebody just gave me a saxophone. I put it in the shop. They have a little things, a few things. They said they didn't play it anymore, so they donated a saxophone to me. And so I got backup. If I need backups, I got different types of. If you can see this one right here, this is called a pocket trumpet. It's real small, and it's not that big. If you look at it, you can tell it's real small. My hand is just about as wide, as long as it is, and it's the same thing as a regular trumpet.
That's a pocket trumpet. A pocket trumpet.
Yeah, it's a called pocket trumpet because it's so small. You can say if you're going on a trip someplace, it's so small you could take it actually aboard the aircraft because it don't take up that much space. And it's actually a lot of people use it for practice horns, but I use this in live concerts.
Wow.
And people when they look at me and they say, well, "What kind of trumpet is that?" I say it's called a pocket trumpet. A lot of people use it in practice, but I use it in live performances because you get the same sound. It's just a smaller trumpet.
Wow.
And so it's just like I have a curved soprano, which Kenny G likes the straight soprano. That's what I learned on the straight, but I have a curved soprano that looks like a smaller alto. And in the close quarters, sometimes you need smaller horns, for
Yes.
spacing. And but yeah, I play everything I have.
Wow.
In different situations I go out. And on my concert annually, I don't really play but certain horns. But I'm gonna take and dedicate one of these years, maybe during the spring concert, bring a couple of my instrumentalists, violinists, bring a young lady I had the first year, bring her back, and we just have an instrumental gospel program.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Yep. And so that was the original idea. was trying to really get instrumentalists, but I couldn't quite, round them up. I've been meeting people along the way over the years. So maybe this spring, coming up in 2026, I'll look at to put together something, and we have an instrumental jazz gospel concert for the
Let me know.
springtime. Then
Let
the
me know.
summer doing it. Huh?
Let me know. I'll help if you need help. And
Yeah,
I know
I'm
some
gonna be
people.
talking. I'm gonna be talking to people.
I'll reach out to some people. Well, let me ask you this. So this upcoming concert that you have coming up now, what can people expect here? Who are some of these people you have coming? Who are these people on the flyer you have coming?
Well, you got Angela Kent. She's been known in the area for a good little while. She's performed at the they done changed the name so many times downtown. I don't know what you call it now. It
The
was the
McWally Memorial Auditorium. Yeah, they did change it, but I know what you're talking about. So
yeah.
Angela, is she a singer or is she an instrumentalist?
No, she's a piano singer,
Okay.
psalmist, and yeah, we played together off and on for years.
Where's
And
she out of?
she's a lamplighter recipient, award recipient, so she's good. Then beneath her is Paula Waters. Paula Waters been a friend of mine for a while. She did stage. Well, both of them have did stage drama plays and things like that, and they sing. Paula's a very good friend of Terrence and Bishop and Deborah. They just did a this past weekend. They just did something I saw on Facebook. Then you have
The McCallum brothers.
yeah, the McCullum brothers from
They're from somewhere in North Carolina.
yeah, I believe I don't have my what's called with me.
Are they like a quartet group or they like a singing group? Oh wow!
Yeah.
So you got some quartet singing coming. You got some quartet.
Oh yeah,
singing.
yeah. This year's dedicated more to quartet singing in the past.
Okay.
A matter of fact, on the 6th of October, the McCullum brothers have a big concert out in Holly Springs. I believe it's Holly
on
Springs.
the 6th of October. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, if you go on their Facebook page and look it up, and they have a lot of nice recording artists on their program.
Okay. Where's that going to be?
Huh?
Where will it be?
At the Holly Springs. I think it's the railroad station.
Okay. And then you have the Good Samaritan Baptist Male Chorus.
Yes, I met them a couple of years ago at I did their church 150th church anniversary, and I played all my horns, and one of the gentlemen in the male chorus was fascinated, and so I go out on third Sundays with them, and I fellowship with them on third Sundays with the male chorus. Okay. And so I invited them to come along this year, be a part of this, and they will be there.
And you have another saxophonist too, Mr. Walter Richardson.
Yeah, Walter Richardson. I met him about 10 years ago, and we was down at Miss May Perry event, and I called him up, and I said, "Come on up, man." I told the musicians to stay up, and I told the musicians started playing some more of that. I said, "Man, get your horn," and we just fell in and took turns, and the people enjoyed it, and he said he enjoyed it. So I've been bringing him along. It's been 30 years he's been with me too.
Y'all gonna do a duet?
I'm gonna see about it. We had talked about working on something. I've been running so much. We've both been running quite a bit this year, but it don't take much. All we got to do is put music on. We'll find out where we need to be at.
What about Eddie Bryant? Who's Eddie Bryant?
Eddie Bryant he's from the Winston-Salem area. He got a group called the Gospel Wonders. I couldn't get all that on the flyer, but I met him this past year. I went down there for a Martin Luther King weekend event, and I played at the church that Sunday, and then Monday we did the Martin Luther King event, and we had a packed at the city hall. The place was packed out, and once again the people were impressed with the different, all of the different horns I was playing. And so we became friends, and so I invited him to come on up this year. to be a part of this.
And then you
And
have
then,
the spiritual travelers, the
the spiritual travelers, from what I understand, they're from Zebulon, and they were there last year. They was the only quartet group I had last year, and I invited them back again. And let's see, did I leave anybody out?
Did you say Paula Waters?
Yeah, we talked about Paula Water right after Angela.
So that's good. So you got a little bit of quartet, you have some instruments, so they're gonna come and have a good time. And it's gonna be well worth attending. So what time is it? How long is the show? And what can the people expect when they come? It's at 3000 Rock Quarry Road. It's a Word of God Church, 3000 Rock Quarry Road in Raleigh, North Carolina, which is right on the block, right down the street from Southeast Raleigh High School. It's right off of 540. It's right near. It's going toward the used to be called the Walnut Creek Amphitheater. So it's in that vicinity. So you definitely can Google it and find out. And once again, the date of the show and the time is what, Mike?
November the 1st. Doors open at 2:00. The program starts at 3. And we've been getting out of about maybe 2.5 to 3 hours, roughly right up in there.
Okay,
and,
so 3 hours of a free concert. They'll take a love offering. Because it does take money. These artists are coming. They're driving. They're coming, and it's going to be nice. They're going to have any refreshments or food afterwards? Is Leslie going to have food available?
Well, Leslie is going to open up her little restaurant in the back.
Okay. So there will be some food. Okay,
are
you going to have like an intermission or?
But hey, Crystal, the food is not free now. The first year, people thought the food was free. No. The food is not free. It's reasonably priced, but it's not free.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, let's make that real clear. They will have a restaurant on site at the church. So after the show, I don't know if they're going to do something in the middle, but after the show,
you better go. You better go while the show going on, and eat back there. They got an area where you can sit and eat, and you still be able to hear the music through the speaker system back there. So you be able to eat on site.
Okay. So they can eat on site. They can eat on site if they need to. Okay, so this is good. And so about a 2 or 3 hour show, 3000 Rock Quarry Road at Word of God, and that'll be that. And so that's good. And you're going to get to see the host and the co-host that you just saw on Spiritual Awakening. They'll be there. And you might meet a few people. Come get your praise on. Come get your worship on. Come support. It's a good cause. It's called Lean on Me, where you can come. If you're going through something and you've been by yourself, this is a place you can come to where you don't have to be by yourself. Whether you are an individual, whether you are any age group is welcome. Am I correct? Correct me if I'm wrong. Any age group is welcome. It's free.
Any age, no problem.
Come on in. If you need a friend, if you need a hug, if you need some prayer, if you need some encouragement, come to the Lean on Me, or I should say go to the Lean on Me concert, sponsored by MichaelSpivey and friends, right? And third year he's doing it, and he had big dreams to bring maybe his idol, so to speak, or the person who motivated him or inspired him to want to play, which was Kenny G. He's hoping one day to have a concert with Kenny G too. But anybody that may be interested in being a part of the 4th annual, are you open to having other people who may come back and see this to reach out to you that may want to be a part of this?
Yes, I mean, I'm always open to new people and ideas. I've been doing this by myself, really, but I'm trying to expand to get a few people on board where I won't have to take and delegate, where I can delegate some responsibilities, where I can free myself up, because I still do out and perform, and I'm trying to navigate this and communicate with the people to be a part of it, the program and different things. It's a lot.
It is a lot. And Mike, you can call me. You know, you can call on me. You got to, I'm going to support you. So I could have did interviews for your artists. We could have had a red carpet type thing, so, just call me. I'm there for you.
Yeah, well,
I believe in you. I support you. You were there for me, so call me. You know my different gifts that I have. So I know a few people. I mean, so let's make it happen. Let's make it happen. But I'm so
yeah,
glad that we had this conversation today. So people, if you have time on your calendar, November 1st, and you're in the Raleigh area or nearby, Nightdale, Zebulon, Chapel Hill, Cary, Wake Forest, Morrisville, come on by. I'm serious. If you need some encouragement, I attended and it was really good. I mean, you're going to get some foot stomping quartet. If you've never really been around some quartets, them quartets will get you going, boy. Them quartets, nothing like a good quartet sound. Good old quartet sound. And then I know the host and the co-host, they know how to bring it. They don't keep it going because they are from the former Spiritual Awakening and the Gospel Show. So they're going to have you on your feet. Okay, so it's going to be a good time. You're going to have some church while you're in there. Okay, let's just go ahead and say it. You're going to have the church while you're in there, right, Mike? So
got
just
to do it.
just come. Mike, we want to thank you for sharing with us about this, for coming and talking, sharing your testimony about how you've been. I know there was one show when you didn't think you were going to be able to play. And let's talk about that for a minute before we get ready to close out, because there might be somebody out there going through something, right? They might be a singer. They might be a saxophonist or a group member or something, and they might have got a diagnosis, or they might have gotten something. They might have given up. Can you talk about it for a moment? How you felt when you thought you weren't going to be able to play, and how you got through that and pushed yourself to where you are now, and to where you're singing and playing and doing everything?
Well, let me go back to 2020 when I had pneumonia. Um, for 14 days, well, into the third day, I actually saw myself. I thought I believed I was actually dying, and I started praying to God to give me another chance at life. I said, none of us are perfect. I know I've had my shortcomings. I said, but if it's my time to go now, I thank you for what you allowed me to see, because I used to believe I would only live to see 50. At that time, I was 60 some years old. I'm 69 now, but he's been there for me through all of this. But the thing in 2020, I was frail. I had to learn how to walk again. I had to learn how to eat again. And he brought me through it. And then a couple years ago, I found out I had blood cancer. And here we go again. I'm just getting back up on a high. Now I'm coming back down again. When I had the blood, a bone marrow transplant, just about 2 years ago, in November, 2 years ago, it was one of the worst things I ever went through in my life. And the reason why I'm saying that, because I had no taste buds. I had no smell. So I couldn't eat. All I could do was drink Gatorade and eat ice cream. That was my diet. Meats and vegetables had no taste. I couldn't drink water. Water made me gag. So I was frail and weak, but my wife kept motivating me to you got to learn how to walk. You got to learn how to walk. You got to build yourself up. What I would, more than anything, tell people, you got to have a strong helpmate or helper in your life to motivate you and encourage you. Then believe that God's gonna bring you through it. If I would have not had any of those in my life, I wouldn't have been able to make it. Because, like I say, it was one of the hardest things I had to do in my life, is to relearn how to walk, relearn how to eat, and having neuropathy in my feet hurting. It was a challenge. But I said, God, you brought me all the way from when I was birthed through problems all the way to where I'm at now. So I believe you're gonna bring me through this, because you know what I do with my instruments are for you only. I don't do no clubs. I don't even do no R&B. I do gospel. I may do a little jazz, but because I made a vow to him to use my gift
Yes,
only
yes.
for him. And
And
that's
you're
what I do.
available. Wow. And you're available for booking too. I heard you bring up your wife for a quick moment. I know you want to give kudos to her for being there. I remember at that show where you did a presentation to her, it was very touching. So right now, I'm going to give you the opportunity, since you brought her up, to give her flowers for what she has done to be there for you through all of this. Anything you'd like to say to your helpmeet for all that she has done over the years?
Well, the first year, um, it happened to fall on her birthday. And what I did that year, I brought her down the front of the church, and they brought us chair out. I bought some flowers for her, and I played her a song, and I just I thank the church, the people, to let her know that she had been there for me. In 2013, I forgot about to tell you, I had a part of my colon removed. She was there. Then when I got sick in 2020, she was there. And that was the first year that I did the concert. And I just wanted them to know that was her birthday weekend. So she kind of sacrificed her birthday weekend to be there to support me again. But I wanted to make sure, since she was there supporting me, that they knew that I recognized her the proper way before men. Not behind, like some people don't want to recognize people, out in front of our audience. But I've never been that way. I always speak highly of my wife whenever I go out, because I understand I needed somebody to get in the trenches and battle with me, in my recovery. Each and every time she's been there. So I
Mhm.
always lift her up when I go out. And I tell people that you don't have to be married, but you need a strong person to be in your life when you need them the most. There are a lot of married people run out on each other when one of the other gets sick. So it don't mean because you're married that they're gonna be there. You just need a good, solid person to be there in your life. And I always recognize my wife because she's been there for me. And that's just the only thing I can say. I pray for her and I ask God to keep her strong. And I saw, it on her face, when I was going through. I met a lady yesterday, after I talked about gave my testimony a little bit, and she was telling me about her husband. She said, Mr. Spivey, you are correct. A helper, a helpmate really goes through a lot to make sure that person that's sick is taken care of properly. And she said, I thank you for speaking up on that. I said, yeah. I
Yes.
said, I always speak up and lift my wife up because I saw the look on her face and what she was concerned and worried about me. And so I always make sure she's recognized uh, before
Good
any
job.
man or woman that I go be around. I
Good
am
job.
not ashamed.
Good job. So listen, ladies and gentlemen, you've been listening to Michael Spivey, and we are going to get ready to get out of here. We're not going to keep him too long. We want to say thank you for coming through. Please, please, please go by and support. Go by and support. Definitely want to go check out the show. Mike, I'm going to give you a chance to give any closing comments about anything you want to say in closing. I mean, in regards to why people,
Well,
like.
only thing, no, I just want to say I appreciate you finally chasing me down, because I know we had talked about this off and on for a while. And our good friend, Nisi, I can't forget hers. She did my flyers because, people said he would do my flyers and everybody kept dropping the ball. So I spoke to her and, she got it done for me. And I want to, do a shout out to her also.
Yes.
And she was just telling me about, when I did her brother's homegoing, and that the family really, appreciated and enjoyed what I did there. And I said, well, I say it was for you and your family. Now I said, always family and friends are my number one priorities for us looking out for. So if you're a a friend, you're in good hands with me. I
Yes.
do
Yes.
whatever I can for you.
Yes.
That's just my heart, my nature is to be able to do that.
Yes. And I thank you for that, Mike. I really do. I appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been listening to Michael Spivey. It's our time. I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. Mike, I appreciate you. We want to say thank you for being here today. Thank you for watching Storytime. We're here 8 o'clock on Wednesdays and 9 p.m. on Sundays. It's where we connect with individuals so they can share their business, their product, their testimony, whatever it may be. And so we want you to come on out. We want you to make sure that you support the cause, okay? And we want to thank our guest, Michael Spivey, 3000 Rock Quarry Road, November 1st. Doors open about 2 o'clock and get there. It's about a 2 to 3 hour show. They're going to have food afterwards. The food is not free. The show is free. It's open to everybody. Come on out. One last thing, Mike, how can they reach out if they need to reach out to you? How can they reach out if they want to find out more? Is there a way they can reach out to you?
Yes, you can reach me at 919-389-3584, or you can reach me at 919-909-4515.
All right. For more information, call Mike. Call Mike for more information. For more information about the show. All right. We want you to do that for sure. We're going to put that number on the screen right quick for you to see it. Call Mike if you want more information for the show. Once again, it's November 1st. Support. November 1st. You're listening to Mike Spivey. Mike, it's been real. Thank you so much for everything you have done. Appreciate you. Much love, respect. And we will get together. Call me and let me know. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been listening to Story Time. Once again, Story Time with Crystal. And that's our time. So we'll see you next time. And thank you. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button. The Story Time with Shop Crystal. I want to say that one more time. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button. All right. Call Mike at this number right here if you have any questions. If you have any questions, call Mike so you can find out. That's our time. Story Time with Shop Crystal. My mission is to stir up the gift, instill hope, and save lives. I am your Hope Catalyst, and we say keep hope alive. See you on the next Story Time. God bless.
A catalyst for change with the chance to thrive. Crystal is the one to stir up gifts and save lives. You get exposure, promotion, and marketing too. And advertise for business owners just like you. On Storytime, your interview is global. Virtual or in person, just come on the show. Yo, your story matters. Crystals will open the door. 40 years of experience, ready to give you more on Storytime. Get ready for Storytime. Hey, come on.